Alright, so it is a new day and I figured, you know what, gotta start somewhere. Maybe I actually make this the start of this whole YouTube escapade. You gotta start somewhere. I thought about, I've been filming for a long time, but I never actually uploaded nothing, and figure, you gotta start somewhere. So maybe today's the day. So today, what's this all about? It's just kind of following what I do around here, and who knows, maybe people find it interesting, and maybe people learn something. That's the most important thing. I do a whole bunch of different things around here, and my philosophy is if I can figure it out, then anybody can do that. So yeah, if there's a lot of things around here, I get a lot of questions. People seem to find what I do interesting, and then just learn from it. So do some gardening, do some building, do some whatever, whatever comes around goes around. So yeah, I'll take you through the day, and we'll see where it goes, and yeah, hope you all enjoy. Alright, so it is Friday, and it's trying to orient myself, see where the day goes, but I got a list of things that do need getting done. One of them actually is getting ready near to plant, but the other week I strung up a wire between those two posts there, and that is that's where I'm going to be planting the tomatoes, all the vines. From that wire there'll be strings taken down, and the idea is they crawl up. I've always had tomatoes in the garden, don't like it, take them out. So yeah, I made this area not too long ago. Wonderful method of just cardboard. I cardboarded it, put wood on top of it, and then it basically killed it off for a month. And then I put compost on top of it. And I'm blessed to be able to have access to this stuff. So it's nice stuff. But as you can see, there's wires up there. But I do also know that when these posts were put in the ground, there were this one's pretty solid, the other one's a little bit on the iffy side, and I have a feeling enough weight and they're gonna close in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go on the back side, drive a piece of metal, and I have these old ratchet straps from the carport actually, and I'll loop them around, bring them to that post, and then just give them tension that way, so that there's going to be tension pulling these two apart. And if it seems to sag, you can always apply more. So that's one piece I'd like to get done. And then I need to run a few errands today, because I'm wanting to start really making my own compost here in house. And so I'm going to be picking up tarps. I'm looking for buckets. I actually have a bucket guy out in the city, but I found some locally too, so I'll do that. And then pick up the auction goods, so that'll be exciting. There's a local auction around here, and I bid on it once in a while, and there's some interesting pieces I picked up, so we'll be doing that. And I just want to give a quick highlight. I seeded this not last Tuesday, but the Tuesday before. Actually the Monday before. This is all corn, sorghum, and sunflowers, and look at this, it's all popping up, and this is such a blessing. This really looks nice. Yeah, you got it. Sometimes it looks like there's a little bit of a bare spot, but yeah, it's looking really nice. When you can actually see the rows starting to pop up, it's just exciting is what it is. So I have corn between there, and you say, why you have so much corn? Well, there's one of the goals around here, as you're gonna see as time goes on, is I want to try to make all my own food. That is a goal of mine. I think it's a reasonable goal, and I make the majority of it. when I go to the store, there's 3 staples I still buy, and that's rice, flour, and oil. I know how to get around oil. I can make lard. I've done it before, so I knocked that one off the list. But flour and rice are a bit of an... I'm trying to knock the flour off with corn flour, and I'm trying to knock the rice off with sorghum. I've used it in lieu of rice, and it's a pretty decent substance, so that's what I'm going for. Sunflowers, we'll see what they really turn into. That could be an oil product, but I had the chickens in mind for that, because trying to be self-sufficient with feeding chickens through the winter is difficult too. I'm trying to figure that one out, because yeah, I can't, it's winter 6 months of the year here. It gets cold. So all these rows of corn, and then right here we start seeing sorghum. It looks a little bit different, but it looks like corn in the end. We got scattered rows here, which is, we'll get them down. They will need to be thinned out, because we have areas like this, because that seed is so small. So when we can see it's just a little round kernel. So I'm not gonna go in there and hand sow each single one. I just make a furrow and just I'll be thinning them out when I do that. And then here's the sunflowers, so they look like they're doing pretty nice too. And these are the oilseed sunflowers. And again, there's some bare spots in there, but I might, if I'm gonna be, I might try and transplant some to the bare spots and make up for them. But yeah, that's just a little highlight of this section. This was tilled up this year, and then cleaned up, and it needs to be remedied. I have a bunch of mulch that will be, the idea is to bring them to kind of mulch the area, help build up organic matter, and then retain some of the moisture. But yeah, and then the front half is just going to be squash. So I do have some already in here. This stuff I cheated with. I actually got it at the greenhouse, but I have stuff that I planted sitting in a greenhouse still that needs to make its way in here. So I still have spots for that, and that's also something that needs to be done this weekend. So yeah, we'll see where the day goes, and then how things turn out. So I got some pieces got together. I think I'll use some rebar to drive in the stakes to give the support, and those are the straps I'm going to use for it. I just need to bend a little hook on there so that the hooks on here have something to catch on. Otherwise it's probably just going to slide up. So figure I just need to go find a good surface to smack this on, and oh, that'll do. So I just came back, I found a vise, and yeah, I put a little bend in there. Yeah, I drove them in the ground, like there's most of the way in there. Same on that side, and then I'll go get two of the ratchets, get the strap, and then bring them down to the ground. And yeah, in the end of the season, you could just pull them out. You can always just pry it on a farm jack if they're really that, because they're pretty deep in there, and I think they hit the gravel, so I think it should work. Just have to make sure that you know they're there, that's all. Not sure how well this is gonna really work, to be honest. How much slack there is on here, but at least it's something. So, if it don't work, then at least we know. Alright, so that should give us a little more stability, and then yeah, we'll see how it goes when we start dropping lines on here, and could always be adding a central brace in the middle if it doesn't work out. Okay, I'm just about set off to run some errands, but I figured just before I do that, a little bit of time, I'm going to quickly check the beehive here, see if they need extra frames, and well, you can see how it's done. So I got a little lid back here, and okay. Just lifts up like that. See if somewhere. Just gently pull this back. Gently pull back this little divider board. And what I'm looking for on this frame is if they're working on it. I can look at one back, and I don't see anything working on there too. So I'm just going to push it forwards. Put it back there. Just put him back to where it was. Close them up again. And leave them be. So had I seen them on that last frame, I would have added 2 more. Had I seen them on that second last frame, I would have added 1 more. And this is just so they don't run out of room. But I guess, you know, I'm not too surprised that they're not that far yet, because they got a lot of comb to still build in there from the previous season. But yeah, I had 2 frames ready. Had it been, this is my most active hive. I'm not going to check that one just because I know they're not that far. If this one's not here, that one's not there, because they just squeaked by the winter. There was really a handful of bees in there. And the queen's still there, so she's laying and they're still working. But you know, you can see they're not as active. I mean, it's looks pretty empty, and you got some bees in the front here. And yeah, there's still bees here. There's one, but not nearly to the same level of activity as the other one. And so I'm not sure how they're gonna do, because I mean, this is where they should be, but I mean, look at that. They are working, and it was really nice yesterday evening. I was cleaning the cherry trees here, and you can smell the production going on. You smell the wax, the propolis, and all that other good stuff that you just, especially over here, I was just cleaning this one. It was just wafting from the entrance. It's a very pleasant aroma, so it's nice to be around them. So yeah, we're gonna wrap this up and probably go run some errands. All right, errands are ran, so that took longer than I'd like, but yeah, it's time off. It's, you know, about 2 hours there, but everything is squirreled away, and now the weekend's ahead. So yeah, first thing I went, the local buy and sell, I got some tarps. So that's it's an 8x12 and a 8x6. So that will be nice for the compost. Is for one, and the other one, well, sometimes you just need tarps, and you know, they were cheap enough. So that was a nice little haul. Then I also it's a mess in the truck right now, but well, you can see this is one of the auction items. Assorted files, a little hammer, I guess, and a whole box of Allen keys, and a clamp. Like, this is some pretty good stuff. Now, the big reason why I got the files was because they can make pretty good tool steel. So if you want to make knives, or in my case, I want to make a draw knife at some point, and files are an excellent source for that steel. I also, got myself finally a pitchfork, which is really nice, which was lobbed in with a post hole digger, a pickaxe, and an axe, and a little homemade hook. I also got this golfing bag with golf, clubs. And then I picked up some buckets. There's 10 of them there, and I need those. Well, those are also for the compost, to get all the items organized before getting it all on the pile. It's a different method, but we'll see how that works. But yeah, I'm gonna get these things cleaned up, wrapped up, and then we're gonna continue the day from there. Alright, so the day's progressing. Stuff is put away, and yeah, I need to plant stuff today, but I don't like planting at midday, so I'm gonna wait on that until it's a little cooler in the evening, and then go from there. But right now, I always have projects kicking around, and right now I'm getting a little bit tired of so that garden, that gate there, or really lack thereof, is just a pallet I tossed up there. So that should get done. I should make a gate for that. That's what I do now. I got measurements, I got hinges, carriage bolts. Like, I got the equipment, but I don't have the lumber right now. I went into my reserves, and yeah, I'm running low, so I only have the 110 footer in there, and the other stuff is sketchy. There's not the nicest stuff, and if you're gonna make a gate, might as well make it look nice. So I'm gonna have to harvest some lumber, and I got myself a bunch of pallets. This is where actually I get a lot of my lumber from. That's what built that, and actually that is a whole pallet up there, but this is where I get a lot of my lumber from. I just pull pallets apart. It works. It maybe made a little more sense during that whole COVID time, but 2x4s were absurd, but it still works, and I have it on hand. I have to go uptown again, and too bad, because I was actually I was at the lumber store this evening, or for this morning, but yeah, we'll pull this one apart just because we have it here, and then go from there. Alright, so you can see the pallets taken apart. So is it worth doing? I honestly think it really is, especially when lumber prices were higher. I mean, I was a little rusty. They're not doing it like this is with everything set up. It only takes me half hour to do, so it's a quick way to turn around wood. Plus you get a bunch of these too. Yeah, they don't always look the nicest, but I do find uses for them. Oh, gesundheit. So yeah, I'm gonna start getting measurements, and hey buddy, how goes it? I think he was sleeping under there, and I'll wake you up. Yeah, so I'm gonna start getting some measurements, draw something up, and then we'll start working on that gate. Hey, you gonna help me? I'm sure he is. He's the chief engineer around here, I think. Alright, so the door is mostly made. I just need to assemble the wire mesh and then the corner braces. But before I do that, I am going to stain it, and I can't do that with the the mesh on there. So I have it here. I just have them strung up in the tree. Yeah, I thought I'd just put on buckets first, and I realized, this is an easier way to go about it. So yeah, it's just very simple. It just hangs there, and I can paint, stain it, and I should flip them around. That's the top, so if there's anything funny going on with the stain, I'm going to see it. The bottom's not as important. But I'm just going to stain it the same as the whatchamacallit, those hives stands over there, so you get that kind of that dark red wood stain. I have a can of it. I bought it for cheap. I guess it was an off tint or something, but it seals the wood, so that's all it needs to be. I thought about doing a color, but I think a stain is just will do just fine, and it's a one coat application, a 2-coat application, a little easier. At least then I can get it stained today and actually do all the stuff tomorrow instead of painting it and then clear coating it. And yeah, it looks nice, and I got a nice yellow door over there, and I was thinking about doing the same, but the red looks nice too, and it fits, I guess, and I have it. Yeah, so I'm gonna paint it, and then once that's done, then I have 3/8 braces that fit in there still. In those corners, I was originally thinking about strutting another corner post, I guess up from here, but I don't see the need for that, and I don't want to add extra weight that's not necessary. With these braces in there, I tell you what, it's quite sturdy as it is. And then when the other ones are on there too, it adds even more. And then the wire mesh, I mean, does add some as well. So yeah, we'll crack out the stain, we'll get this painted. I'll flip this actually, and then we'll go from there. Alright, first coat is done, and this setup worked quite nicely, I think. So I'm just gonna let that dry and yeah, go from there. I'm not quite sure what gotta reorient myself now again. You know, it's just getting the door. And now I'm playing the waiting game. But while I was getting the paint, actually, I was standing in the kitchen. I was just eating a little egg, and then all of a sudden I looked in the garden and chickens got in there. See a little door I put. There's a little door that connects their coop to the garden. I let them in the spring, and I'll let them in again in the fall. You know, they scratch around, manure it. They eat stuff. It's a good time for them. But I guess it's been so windy all day. I guess the door is right now just propped up with a brick, and I guess the wind caught behind it and brought it down. It should be pretty good now, but I really should just make it a dedicated. I should put a hinge on there and then a little latch, so it's actually locked, and we don't have a repeat of this, because right now, you know, it's full of seed, and I don't want them digging up all my little, like, there's all a bunch of, everything's just coming up, so, or not just yet, but it's very close, so I don't need them disturbing that. Well, let's see where the day takes us after this. Alright, so this is, I just cobbled this together. There was a piece of plywood that I just propped against with a stone, or the foundation stone, yeah, either way. So, hey, there's the pieces from the pallet. I just cut them, screwed them. I had a hinge kicking around. I got a few of those. And yeah, just screwed it in there. I had this already up before when I made the piece, anticipating on making a door. So then in the summer they can just go, or the spring and fall, I'll just open it. I have to make some sort of a latch. Still, this will work just fine for now, I would think. There's enough friction here. That door's not going anywhere. Yeah, I can make a little latch and just wire connect to here or something. But it works for now. It's better than it was, so I'm going to keep it like this. And yeah, just nothing pretty, but it works. Alright, so we just had supper. It's Friday. And then I usually go to my parents for that. So I figure, well, I want to do some planting now. Now it's cool, so I'm here in the greenhouse, and this is, you see, it was we set it up this year. I laid the foundation here last year with the help of my mother. We just put the pavers in there, and then I concreted this in between there. Just that was last fall, so we got it ready, and then this summer we got things. My father assembled this piece. He had it. I guess one of those pieces. You know, it just came in a box. So he had it for a long time, and yeah, finally got around to putting it together. So it's really nice, actually. And I'm looking at so this is the stuff I seeded here, and so these tomatoes are looking quite nice, actually. Has a pepper. This one not so much, but I got Connecticut pumpkins, sugar pumpkins, watermelon, that was another Connecticut, spaghetti squash. Oh, two of them. Oh, this one's really kicking off. I'm like, you know, just the amount of growth. I mean, this one too. Like, they're just booming in here. The cabbage back here. There's some eggplant. Just looking around, see what's really here. Some tobacco. This was a whole tray of peppers, of which I transplanted most of them into these. These are tomatillos though, and they're doing really nice. These are different tomatoes, and this was from the greenhouse last week. Oh, this is a cucumber, of which, yeah, I seeded some here, cucumbers, and then pickles here. Yeah, no, it seems to be doing pretty well, so I'll take some of these home with me, and we'll start getting these in the ground, because it's a good time to plant. So I think I would like to do some of the. I'll get the squash in there for sure, and then we'll see about the tomatoes and the peppers too. I'm kind of thinking of where to put some of these things, but we'll figure stuff out. So I just got the squash in the ground, the watermelon. Now I'm on the tomatoes here, so I just strung out the lines, try to get them lined up with there, and we got the tomatoes in here. So we'll see how this goes. I just space them a bit apart, and then I have a rope here that I'm gonna have to make the drop downs for. So we'll see how that pans out. All right, so I'm gonna wrap things up for Friday at least. It's just a wee past 10:30, and well, it's dark outside, and I planted. Yeah, the squash is in. A good number of tomatoes are in. I want to wrap that up tomorrow morning with the peppers and the cucumbers. But yeah, it's I mean, it being dark now, you don't really see what you're doing, and you're fighting them Manitoba mosquitoes, and I don't care too much for that. So I'm gonna wrap it up there, go to sleep, and then pick things up on the morrow. Perhaps come up with some ideas for how to improve that trellis system. I'm not happy with it, to be honest. The fact that the top is a wire and that there's flex in there, it really shouldn't. It should be a solid piece to where I can grab the rope, I can pull it down, put it in the ground, and it's not going nowhere. But now there's a lot of flex, and if things get heavy, they're gonna pull it down, and then the rope is gonna go slack. That's gonna happen, but unless maybe I brace the middle, but we'll see how the system goes. Ideally, there should be a built-in trellis system, just something freestanding, a little more permanent, but we'll see how this season goes. So until then, we'll see where tomorrow brings us.